Hi everyone, Professor Besco here, and welcome to Module 8. In Module 8, we are going to be discussing dyscalculia. So let's get started with the instructions, and then I'll get into what is dyscalculia. So right here, we're going to click on the instructions. You're going to read Chapter 8 in the ASNAP book, and the whole chapter is devoted to math and tools that you can have in your toolbox as an educator to assist an individual who is struggling with math, whether or not they are diagnosed with dyscalculia. I also want you to read the content that I have posted within the module. I do have a few articles that go more in depth about dyscalculia because I really feel that this is just something that a lot of students um, who have a learning disability, they struggle with math, but yet they never get the diagnosis of dyscalculia. Sometimes they just get, they're self-diagnosed as I'm just not good at math, or I'm not a math person, and they have this mantra going inside their head that they're just math is not their thing, and even adults say it. But there really can be an underlying neurological reason why they struggle with math, and it doesn't go uh, diagnosed. So I have some really great articles for you to read so that you can understand this condition a little bit more. You do have a discussion board post that you do need to complete, and I'm going to go to that in just a moment. But with the discussion board, the content that you're going to find and post on the discussion board, you can go ahead and post that also on your assistive technology website under math. I need you to watch the screencast for the module activity. The module activity directly relates to your UDL lesson plan that will be due on December 12th. So we're going to get started on that activity. So this activity and the following activity in Module 9 will directly relate to completing your UDL lesson plan. And then with that activity, you're going to go ahead and submit that to me by December 2nd. I will be giving you feedback on December 3rd so that you can go ahead and implement that information into your UDL lesson plan. So with that, we're going to follow the breadcrumbs back. Maybe. Here we go. Okay, a little slow today. So let's talk about what is dyscalculia. So you can see I have a lot of information on here for you. Some really great articles for you to read. I have a little video here on dyscalculia. If you find the articles maybe a little overwhelming, they're pretty in-depth, especially this one. I love this video right here. It does a really great job in explaining in detail what dyscalculia is. So what is it? Well, let's go to it. It's actually a neurological condition, and we know some information about dyscalculia. We know that it is a processing issue within both the left and right parietal lobes of the brain. We do believe that it is something that is genetic, and it's passed down and from parent to child. So some signs and symptoms may be that the child struggles with identifying um, mathematical symbols such as plus, minus, multiplication, division symbols. They might struggle with word problems. They could struggle with aligning the words, or I'm sorry, the numbers in an equation. But also keep in mind, because we just also talked about a few modules ago about dysgraphia, and dysgraphia can also be problematic in aligning and writing out mathematical equations and formulas. So, and they could go hand in hand. You can have dyscalculia and dysgraphia, or it just might be dysgraphia. So you have to be able to dig a little deeper to figure out what the true underlying issue is if you have a student who is struggling with that. Um, they may struggle with telling time, following your verbal instructions in math. That could be a problem. Understanding picture representations, graphs, um, and charts. So there's a number of ways that this can manifest. And so here are just some examples of signs and symptoms of dyscalculia. Obviously, you're going to dive a little bit more into this in your reading. And here are just some strategies that you can also implement. So this is just a really quick overview of dyscalculia, and there is just more information that I have within the module. So I do have also some technology for dyscalculia, and obviously your chapter reading, that's all that your chapter is addressing, the various tools and strategies that you can use to assist somebody who is struggling with mathematics. So with that, let's take a look at the discussion board. You're going to be familiar with this format. You're going to read the material within the module. You're going to research and identify 3 assistive technology tools that an educator can implement for a student with dyscalculia. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to post that on the discussion board. As always, you're going to give the name of the product, a description of it, if it's something that can be purchased, the hyperlink and a picture of the item. I do want you to post this information also on your Google site. You are going to, on your Google website, your assistive technology website, you're going to define what is dyscalculia in your own words, and then you're going to post the 3 tools that you've identified so that you will have that page completed for your assistive technology assignment. And then we're going to get into your module activity. So I'm going to do a separate screencast for this, but just to go over it, I do have a UDL planner guide that you're going to complete, but this is going to be the dynamics of your class for completing your UDL lesson plan. So you have 26 students in your class, 4 students with IEPs. Two of the students are classified with a specific learning disability, dyslexia. 1 is other health impaired. So they have epilepsy and they are also diagnosed with ADHD. Please keep in mind with epilepsy, something that you do need to take into consideration is the severity of epilepsy. Some students, some individuals who have epilepsy sometimes struggle with recall, with memory, and that would be something that you would have to take into consideration. Um, and also, obviously, the potential for a seizure in your classroom, but there are some underlining issues that can occur if somebody does have epilepsy and they have frequent seizures. And you also have a student who is hearing impaired and they have a cochlear implant. So you're going to make sure that you have the technology needed to address that issue. Um, in addition, you have 2 students with the 504 plans. One, unfortunately, broke their wrist, both of them skiing in an accident. So their 504 is temporary. And another one has been diagnosed with auditory processing disorder, and they have been given a 504 plan and not an IEP. So, and this is typical. If somebody only has a diagnosis of auditory processing disorder, most likely they're going to get a 504 plan and not an IEP, unless it is drastically impacting their academic performance. Um, and sometimes that goes on a case-by-case basis. And also, you have one English language learner in your class, and their primary language spoken at home is Polish. So, with that, I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to create another screencast just for this particular activity because it directly relates to the UDL lesson plan. As always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call, text, or email me. Make it a great one.